Alright, so hi, today I'm going to explain you how the theory that we've learned in the Information Technology 2 class applies to the financial world and how it is different. The reason why I chose this topic is that I've worked at Industrial Alliance and I see how it applies to reality. So I'll just explain you what we do and how it applies. So in the chapter covered for world, the reality that we have is inserting comments, linking tables with other tables, inserting tables in a blog post, inserting a sub-document. And for module 10 and 11, creating templates is not what we really do at IA, and sending by email is not that useful. For Excel, the reality is that we use pivot tables, pivot charts, slicers. Formula editing would be really useful. Goal seek, editing tables with query tools, but the 3D map part is not that useful. Alright, so in what concerns the inserting comment section, what's really useful about it is, for instance, if you're working on a yearly statement or financial reports with customers, you can actually send this document to your boss or to your supervisor so he can read it, insert what he wants. For instance, if he wants you to clarify some data, well, just send it back to you with those comments and you'll be able to see what exactly he wants. So that's a really good thing because it increases productivity, it increases your way of working, it's more efficient in a certain way. Now, we'll just go into the other section where you can edit your tables. Let me just take 1 second. So when you go into your table, for instance, you have quarter results. Well, you can take your table, you have a table. If you want to link the table with a certain Excel document, you can do so. So what you do is you go into your Excel document, you copy the data that you have, for instance, for the quarters, for the sales or something, similar to that. You copy and paste, but you go into your Word document, you want to copy it, but since I don't have the copy right there, the paste option right there with the link, I'll just go into another page to show you how you can do it normally. So yeah, you go into your paste options, click on paste, see the little link right there, that's what you use. You click on paste, and then you have to break a certain link, because if you don't break the link, well, I mean, your link allows you to work separately, and your Word document is going to be able, you're going to be able to manage everything. So you're gonna go on link, click on link, and then break the link right there. Then you go back into your Word document. So what you'll do is you'll be able to work, for instance, on your certain chart or certain table uh, autonomously. So another thing that is really useful when you're working in a financial institution like IA is that, for instance, if you have a team or if you have meetings with customer, you can go and create your own calendar. And this is really great. For instance, if you want to put it on a blog between employees or even on a blog with customers, it's really useful. So for instance, you just insert that, you go into the insert tab, you insert in the quick tables the calendar you want, and you can do whatever you want. And normally it should give you a certain result like this one. So this is the final result. You insert, you edit everything. So another thing that is useful at Industrial Alliance is the inserting a subdocument options that we've seen in a chapter. Now, what you have to do in that case is that you go in insert in the outlining view, you click on show document, insert your document, and then you go through the document that you want to have. So for instance, if people have been working on different documents at IA and want to put in a certain document together, you click on the documents that you want, you insert it, and now you have the result. You want everything to be fine, so you click on OK. Uh, you want everything to apply together, yes, yes, and here's your document. You can still add other documents, so this is basically a master document in which you insert other document. So it's extremely useful for people working on the same projects or reports, but differently on other computers, so it's really useful in that sense. Now, in what concerns was not that useful at Industrial Alliance and in many companies is the outlining customer surveys that we've done uh, through two modules, module 10 and 11. It's not that useful because we're living in a society where technology are extremely evolving, but now people tend to go more on online surveys that are free, that are more customized. But what we've done there is, we go into the developer view, you have to customize your ribbon, but this is not really useful. So sure, you can add your own things and your list and all, but it's not on point. You can restrict your editing, but it's not really on point on concerning what we've seen so far with companies, financial companies. So for the Excel part, what applies to reality at Industrial Alliance is pretty much everything. But basically, one thing that is really useful is that since we work on governmental reports, we need to find formulas when things don't work, because we have thousands and thousands of contracts. So what you do is that you go into your formula tab, you click on, trace precedence or trace dependence, depending on what you want to have. But you can click on the cell you want, and it's going to point you where your cells linked are. So it's easy to find your mistake that way, and that way you're going to be able to save so much time, because sometimes you spend hours and hours trying to find the reason why one thing doesn't work. But now you can remove your arrows. If you don't want it to show, you're going to remove arrows depending on what you want. And there we go. It's as simple as that. What's great in the financial world is to prove your facts and statements with data and with tables. Now, what you can do in the Excel is go into the pivot chart and pivot table section by inserting them into a new worksheet. Now, what you want to do is that you can choose whatever field and whatever region you want to have. So for instance, if I click on revenue venue and service type, I'm going to have a pivot chart only focused on these. If you have, for instance, your number of sales or something like it that you want to put into a table, it's really, really great. For instance, if I click on average 2016 startup and 2017 startup, I'm going to have a nice table showing me all the data that I've asked. Now, you can also remove them if you want to, be more focused on one point and one aspect of the job you've made. So supervisors really love that type of job, and it really gets you to be loved by your colleagues. Another useful things when you're doing presentations at Industrial Alliance or any other financial institutions is to use the slicers. The slicers gives you can click on whatever you want once again to prove your facts. So if you use your sales, well, you just go into your insert slicer, you click on whatever you want. So in that case, it's revenue venue, your service type, and then your region. You click there, and I'm just gonna close it because it's already done. But you see, you can click on whatever you want. So if I only want basic, I'll just click on basic, and the chart will change automatically. It's the same thing with any other things. So that way you can once again be more focused on the points that you want to present and prove into your presentation, and that's great about it. At Industrial Alliance, we have a car loan department. Now, using that example, I'll show you how you can use the Excel uh, goal seek option. So for instance, if you want to change your interest, your total interest, depending on what you want to pay as a monthly payment, if I go into my goal seek, I want to search for G7 because G7 is actually my monthly payment of interest. If I want to change it to 450 and I want to be able to go to G6, which is actually the number of months, it'll automatically change everything I need to. So as you can see, my final result, which is 3,224 and 36, is the same thing approximately than what I have into my total interest side. So basically that's how you can calculate it, and it's pretty straightforward once again. If, for instance, people at Industrial Alliance would like to calculate which customers give them the biggest amount of revenue, they would be able to do so by using the query tool. So what you do is that you can add your different sheets to your data model, and that way you're going to be able to manage it. And for instance, if you want to keep only the top 15 rows, with the biggest amount of money, you can do so. Right there into this tab. Normally there's a remove top rows, remove headings, and keep headings as top rows. So you can definitely click on those, and you can choose whatever you want to keep rows, to remove headings, and that way you can keep rankings of people. And what concerns what does not apply to reality for Excel, the 3D map option is not really useful because in the financial world you don't want to know exactly where your customer is. It would mostly be used by people who actually offer shipping or offer other services than that. Since I don't have the 3D map option, I cannot show you, but I'll just show you on the internet. This is what it should look like normally, but I don't think it's useful for the financial world industry. So that's pretty much it about what's not useful for Excel. So in conclusion, what I realized is that financial companies use way more Excel than they use Word, because Excel is more about data, where Word is more about writing. But for Word, what's really not useful, because if they want to get the opinion of customers, for instance, they're not going to use a Word survey. They're going to actually use either a survey on their website or on a website that represents more their image. On the Excel side, well, there's definitely the 3D map that's not that useful, but most of the Excel part of it is pretty useful because it's using data, it's using a customer contract. So and the revenues and all that. So it's really great about it. So that's pretty much what covers the whole video and the whole concept of what applies to reality and what doesn't in the financial world industry. Thank you very much.